Hello! In this video I would like to show you how to run my new demo Bad Apple on the real Atari 8-bit hardware. In the end you will have the card cartridge with the demo on and an audio tape for your dataset with the audio. Okay, so let's start with downloading the content. Okay, let's assume you have downloaded the zip file from the location that is mentioned below the video. You unpack the zip file as a separate folder. And in this folder you will find all the files to run the demo in one of the three modes. Either you can run it directly on your PC in emulation, or you can flash it to an individual card that will only contain the demo, or you can add it to an existing workbook that you have for the card. So, to run it in emulation, there is a batch file, there is a WAV file, there is the actual demo, and there is Alstroemeria already in the download. So all you have to do is you have to double-click the batch file. There you are. And from here you can run the demo and follow the instructions. So next would be you want to run the demo on the real hardware. So the first thing you would have to do is you would have to record the WAV file to a tape deck. A tape deck like this one. What you need is a standard Chrome cassette, and the length is not really important. The demo main part is about 5 minutes or 6 minutes. After that you can loop it and the demo will go into loop mode, so you can use it as a presentation, for example. So I open the WAV file, and preferably I do it with a player like VLC, because that will automatically loop the demo. So I put the WAV file here and it starts playing immediately, so I press stop. Then I go to my tape deck, insert the cassette, press pause and record. And I have put the record level so that the audio is in the range of 0 dB. Then I press play here and I remove the pause key, and you will now hear the loading noise. There is about 25 seconds of loading preloader, then the loader, and then the main part. And you see here the volumes and the peak level, which should not exceed 0 dB. Okay. The VLC player has a nice effect that if it's at the end, it will actually automatically start from the beginning again, so you can record the full tape until it's full. Okay, so we are done with VLC. Now we need to get the data onto the card. For that we need the latest version of the Card Studio, which you also find on my website. And you can open the workbook that is included in the download. So the workbook, that's this TCW file, and the actual data files are in the TC directory. So we open the workbook and you see two entries. One is the actual program, and the second one is the data for it. The first one has a content type of standard 8K, which is important, and the second one is executable file. From here we can now export it as a programming ATR for SPQT. And then we need SPQT to transfer the data to the Atari. I have already preloaded here the corresponding image. So now we need the connection to the Atari. This is done via an SIO to PC cable, which is connected directly to the SIO port of the Atari. This is important so I can achieve the high-speed loading. So now we use the card and we plug it in. This would be an empty card or the one that you have used before. We power on the machine. From the menu you can press Escape. So you enter in the simple menu, you select F, the flasher, and press return. Now the flasher has detected the card is in there. we press 1 to program the cartridge, select drive 1, which is in SPQT. So it loads the header, it gives the version information and asks to perform the update, and I say yes and confirm that it should actually start programming. So first it will now read the checksum data. And now it will start programming. If you have an empty card, this may take around 2 to 3 hours. For everything else, as you see it here, only the delta is updated and everything is up to date quite fast. The card is now updated, so we have to start it. For this I press the reset button of the cartridge and the reset button of the computer. And you see the menu. There are 2 entries, only the first one is relevant, and it reads hold shift and press return to start. So we hold shift and we press return to start. Now the computer asks to insert the tape, press play on the dataset and then press return. So let's do that. I take the tape, it's rewinded completely. I put it in, I press play and I press return. Oh, nothing happens, of course, because what is important, I have not connected my dataset to the Atari. So I have to unplug the SIO from the PC and I have to plug in the dataset to the Atari. It is recommended to directly connect the dataset to the Atari also because the audio quality is much better then. So we are back. In the menu we press shift return and return to load. So you hear the preloading noise, then it will load 3 sectors and the actual demo should start.
Atari released the Atari 8-bit computer.
Once the demo has ended, it will display the final screen for about 20 seconds and then it will loop. When it's in loop mode, you don't have to press any key anymore and it will run until the complete tape in the dataset is over. Okay, now that was how we edit if you have a dedicated cartridge for the complete demo. And now we switch to the PC to see how we edit to an existing workbook. So we close SPQT and in the studio I now open a existing workbook. And to this existing workbook we add the 2 entries, the 2 files in the TCD folder. So I get them down here. And the one thing you have to do is you have to mark this explicitly as an executable file and we have to put it on a dedicated start bank. To this end, we go to the header of the columns, we select the context menu, and here we select the start bank fixed and the additional start bank. Then we go down here, we select the start bank fixed for this entry and then this becomes editable. So we can enter the magic number, which is 256. What you see is that this checkbox now is not set, which means it has no bank assigned. The reason is this bank was in use before. And this is the usage allocation map, so we have to first reassign the banks. It prompts me if I really want to do this, because this will take more time once. And then we see that this huge area in the beginning, which starts here at bank 256, that is the actual binary file. Yeah, and from here you can continue like you did before. You would export it, use SPQT, and then you have it together with all your other entries on your beloved cartridge. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any problems, feel free to contact me. We'll get the demo running on your machine. Bye.